is some women seem to age with grace, while others age with bitterness? Why are some women surrounded by peace, respect, and joy, while others are constantly caught in emotional storms? Is it luck? Is it fate? Or is it wisdom? Have you ever looked at a woman, a calm and radiant in her silence, and wondered what her secret is? What does she know that others don't? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about the kind of wisdom that's not taught in schools and not written in books and rarely spoken aloud. It's the wisdom of happy women, and women who have learned that in order to live a peaceful life, there are two topics about their family they never ever talk about. What are these two things, and why does avoiding them lead to more happiness? Let's dive into the deep emotional intelligence of women who have quietly mastered the art of living well. Not through shouting and complaining or proving, but through strategic silence. I want to start with a story that many of you will find painfully familiar. A woman named Lan was the emotional anchor of her extended family. She worked to cook, to clean, to raise children, cared for her in-laws, and still managed to host family gatherings. But every time she spoke about her husband's flaws or her mother-in-law's coldness, it seemed to backfire. People would say, "You're overreacting," or "I don't air dirty laundry." Even when he was telling the truth, he ended up looking like the villain. And so, over time, Lan grew resentful, not just at her husband, or at herself. He asked, "Why am I the one hurting the most, even though I'm doing everything right?" Here's the truth. Lan was right in what he said, but wrong in where she said it. Wise women know that the first thing you never talk about publicly is your husband's shortcomings. Not because he's not because he deserves to be shielded, but because when a woman talks too much about her partner's flaws, the three things happen. People stop respecting him. People stop respecting you. A relationship loses sacredness. In today's society, the pressure on women to vent and be emotionally transparent is immense. And yes, talking to a therapist or a trusted mentor is healthy. But wise women don't vent their personal relationship issues to friends, neighbors, co-workers, or on social media. Because once the sacred bond of a relationship becomes public conversation, it's no longer just between two people. It becomes theater. Everyone forms opinions. Everyone takes sides. And worst of all, people begin to look down on the person you chose to marry. You may feel better temporarily after letting it out, but the damage lingers. And here's the kicker. If you later forgive your husband, the people you told might not. They will still judge him, and now they will also judge you for staying with him. Once met a woman named Leon who had a rocky marriage. Her husband had a temper, but also deep remorse. In their early years, she would tell her sisters everything, every fight, every insult, every tear. Years later, after he changed and their relationship healed, she felt free again. But her sisters didn't forget. They refused to forgive him. Family gatherings were tense. He told me, "I rebuilt my marriage, but I ruined how others saw it." That's the price of public complaints. Wise women know, protect your partner's dignity, not because he's flawless, but because your peace depends on it. What you say when you're angry can be unheard. That brings us to the second thing smart women never talk about: their in-laws' behavior, especially the negative kind. It's no secret that mother-in-law and daughter-in-law relationships can be delicate. And yes, many in-laws are difficult. Some are dismissive, manipulative, or downright cruel. But when you complain too often, even if justified, it creates a picture of conflict that never fades. It paints you as the one who can't get along, and eventually it isolates you, both emotionally and socially. I'm not saying suppress your pain, but instead of complaining about your in-laws, smart women master three silent moves. Emotional distance without physical drama. Neutral responses that reveal nothing. Focusing on their own household, not extended family drama. Woman Io Ying was treated like an outsider by her in-laws for years, as she was never invited to important dinners, always compared to her husband's cousin's wife, and criticized for how he raised her children. But she never once retaliated with gossip. She smiled, helped when needed, and kept her energy focused on building her own home. Years later, after the cousin's wife left the family in scandal, guess who the in-laws respected and leaned on for support? Ying. Not because he was loud, but because she was consistent. He told me if I had fought every battle, I would have lost the war. And that's what wise women know. Some things are not worth saying, not because they aren't true, but because speaking them out loud steals your power. Smart women are not silent because they are weak. They are silent because they are focused. They use their energy not to destroy others, but to build themselves. They understand that the home is not strengthened by exposing its cracks to outsiders. It is healed by reinforcing its foundation from within. Now, let's be real. There are times when you must speak up. Abuse of violence is serious emotional harm. But these are not things to be quietly endured. But most of the time, the issues we talk about in our families are not about survival. They're about control, ego, and validation. And that's where silence becomes your superpower. You see, a wisdom isn't loud. Peace isn't performative. And happiness isn't about winning arguments. It's about knowing which truths to hold gently and which ones to release. You want to be respected, protect your partner's dignity, even in private. You want to be trusted, handle family conflict with grace and not gossip. You want to live peacefully, stop turning temporary emotions into permanent public records. Smart women don't let their homes become talk shows. They don't let friends or relatives run commentary on their private lives. They don't give outsiders ammunition against their own happiness. Instead, they build a sanctuary, one where love is protected, where mistakes are handled in whispers, where dignity is preserved even in conflict. Thank you for watching this video. If this message helped you reflect, share it with a sister, a friend, a mother, or any woman who wants to live with more calm and confidence. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment. What has silence taught you about swings? Because in a world that encourages noise, may you find the courage to be powerfully quiet.